and welcome back. So the innings changeover has happened. The Riverside players have taken off their pads and put on their whites, and the Diamond Creek players have done vice versa. And so now we're going to be seeing the two opening batsmen for Diamond Creek. Looks to be the same openers that they've had for the last while, which is Farah and Russell. And we're going to see our first look at what the Riverside bowling attack has for us. So, Riverside this morning batted from, they finished the 50th over and then they batted till the completed the 58th over. So there were 8 completed overs today, plus the completion of the uncompleted over from last week. Here we go. Let's see ball 1 here of Farah facing the opening bowler at the childcare end, and defended there for a dot ball. So you would say that there is about 60 overs left in the day's allotment of play, but that doesn't obviously take into consideration the rain. Comes into bowl, and it's attempted to play a pull shot, and it goes down to fine leg, and it's a dive, but unable to stop it. 4 runs, a very good start there for Diamond Creek. Farah going very well to begin his innings. So not a bad start there. It was a short of a length, maybe even short, maybe at stomach height, on about outside leg stump, and he just swiveled and played the pull shot. Very nicely played there. Comes into bowl, and it's aggressively striven, and it beats the fielder at mid-off, and they're going to have to do a chase, and it just before the boundary, just a couple of inches before the boundary, and they run for 2. So a very nice start there by Farah. He is continuing on his work from what we saw last round. Comes into bowl, and it's attempted to play the pull shot, but hits his body. So let's have a look at the field. There's a first slip, a second slip, a gully, point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg, and then fine leg on the fence. Comes into bowl, and left it alone. Now in the test cricket, players have just walked back onto the field. They've just had the lunch break, and so we'll be able to get updates for you throughout the day. Into bowl, and he plays the late cut, but it goes straight to point for a dot ball. Okay, that's the end of the over. Diamond Creek, none for 6. Alright, so we're going to see the opening bowler from the river end, and we're going to see Russell face it. First slip, second slip, gully, point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg. Comes into bowl, and attempted to play it onto the leg side, but a dot ball. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that mean that there's someone on the fence somewhere? I can't see the 9th fielder. Comes into bowl and plays the cut shot, but straight there to the fielder at cover for a dot ball. Comes into bowl and left it alone outside the off stump. Very attacking field to start with 2 slips and a gully, although once again I think first slip is far too close. Is standing way too close to the keeper. Comes into bowl and wild shot. That is a really bad shot. It was a half volley wide outside the off stump. Russell did not step into it. All his weight was on his back foot, and he tried to essentially play a sort of a back foot square drive, and he missed it. That was just, he needs to get his footwork together. Comes into bowl and left alone. So obviously Russell's great strength is that he's mostly a back foot player. He doesn't get outside edges because he just doesn't commit to the ball. He tries to play the ball very, very late under his nose, and he doesn't try to be expansive. But then when it is a half volley, how does he actually play it if all his weight is on his back foot? Comes into bowl and left alone. Russell was uninterested in that, so a maiden there. It's still none for 6. Alright, the third over for Diamond Creek. Comes into bowl. And it's a huge full toss, and it goes through the backward point region, and it's going to be collected by the point fielder, and they're going to come back for 2. So another good shot there by Farah. He's in a good mood here. He's playing very aggressive shots. He could probably think that the Diamond Creek could win this game the way he's batting. I mean, it's possible. They only need 3 runs and over. Comes into bowl, and it's a late cut, and the fielder at gully dives to try and catch it, but in the end it goes down to third man, and the point fielder has to run around, and they just get the 1. So the fielder at gully, I think, tried to take a jump. He jumped up trying to take the catch, but in the end it beat his hands and it went down to third man. So Russell on to strike now to face the first of this bowler. And left alone. We're going to have to see what Riverside have in store for Diamond Creek through the course of this innings. What their first change bowlers are. Comes into bowl, and it's down the leg side. And they're going to steal a run. And steal a bye. Still 2 byes. Very good running there, especially by Russell to get the second. The first one was a good call by Farah to notice that the keeper had missed it, and then Russell saying that he could beat the fielder on the throw to get the second. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone outside the off stump. Comes into bowl and tries to play it down the leg side, and they just get the 1 run. Yep, so 1 run there to Russell. So it is none for 12. So the humidity has not gone down. It is still very, very burdensome and intrusive, this weather. It does get to you. I would imagine fielding for a very long period of time would be very uncomfortable, but the overcast conditions have gone away somewhat, a combination of the sun and the breeze. So comes into bowl, and it's an appeal. And the umpire, oh dear, the umpire moving his hand up to his chest in order to click over the ball is is not the best technique when you're trying to keep you're the batsman calm, because it looks like you're going to give the finger. That was not a bad appeal. Comes into bowl, and it's aggressively driven through the gap between cover and cover point, and they just get the 1 run. So Russell is obviously vulnerable to those susceptible to those sorts of balls that are in swinging, where they beat the inside edge of his defensive bat, and he's caught with his standing right in front of the stumps on the back foot. Comes into bowl and blocks it straight back to the bowler for a dot ball. And that's really where Russell needs to work on, making sure that he watches the ball right to the very end, that he doesn't try and allow his bat to move away from his center of gravity and get away from him. That wouldn't cause the ball to beat the inside edge. So if he sticks the bat right underneath his nose, he should be able to protect himself from those sorts of situations. As comes into bowl, and Farah launches a very aggressive shot down to the deep, wide, long on boundary, and the fielder comes in, and they get 2 more. So far the Riverside fielders have not looked the most sprightly, the best arms or the best runners, so there could be plenty of 2s to score by getting an extra 1 run on the throw. Comes into bowl, and another aggressive shot, and it's down to the fine leg region, and it's 4. So Farah continuing on his very aggressive batting that we saw last game. Into bowl, and left alone outside the off stump, and that is the end of the over. It's 19 without loss. And now, so it comes into bowl, and left alone outside the off stump. So the breeze has pushed those very darkish, overcasty clouds off to the west, sorry, and the sun has been able to break through a few other clouds. Comes into bowl, and Russell decides to leave it alone, even though it was short and wide. Could have tried to play the late cut shot, which is why there's a lot right now. There's quite a lot of blue sky. It's not overwhelmingly a bright day, but there is a lot of blue in the sky, and there are lots of overcast conditions in the horizon. As he comes into bowl and leaves it alone. So above the ground, it is mostly blue with patches of cloud, small clouds and big clouds, and then off, as you can see at the back of the camera, off in the background, you can see some very big overcast conditions as he comes into bowl and defended. And then over my head the other way, it's mostly the same. It's mostly just mostly blue with patches of white, ranging in comes into bowl and defended once again by Russell. The balance between how much blue and how much cloud changes, obviously, depending on what area of the sky you look, but you know, mostly blue. Comes into bowl, and it plays the full shot, and it goes through the mid-wicket region, and the 2 players at square leg and mid-on have to run around, and they throw it in, and they get 2 runs there. Well played by Russell, very patient, waited for the ball that he knew he could play, and hit it away. It is 21 without loss. So, Farah to face the first ball from the river end, and leaves it alone again outside the off stump. Farah's very watchful for those balls outside the off stump that are short of a length. If he doesn't think that he can get underneath it and launch into it, then he leaves it alone. But once it gets into that half volley region and he thinks he can scoop it over the heads of the infield, that's when he pounces. And again, it was just a little bit short of a length. He didn't think he could go for it, so he decided to defend it. Riverside are continuing with their 3 attacking fielders of 2 slips and a gully, which it's clear that they are not familiar with Mungrook Oval, because they otherwise would know that that's not the way to attack on Mungrook Oval. You don't have slips. Ball doesn't carry. Comes into bowl, and it's a pull shot, and it goes over the head of the fielder at square leg, and he runs down to the deep square leg boundary, and he picks up the ball, and they're going to get 2 more. Waited for the right ball to hit and launched into a very aggressive pull shot, did Farah. And there's been a change of the field now, and they've reinforced the leg side. Oh no, they've put someone on the fence. Okay, someone is on the fence on the leg side. Comes into bowl. And it's a full toss, and it's driven through the extra cover region, and mid-off has to run around, and he picks it up for 1 run. Comes into bowl, and where did that go? 4 runs. We did not see where that ball went. It was a short ball. Russell went for the tennis ball style pull shot, and it went down to the boundary, the straightish long on region. So 4 runs. And so Russell now joining in the party. Very nice boundary there for him. Comes into bowl, left alone. And a good over there for Diamond Creek. It is 28 without loss. Alright, a much less aggressive field for Farah here, facing the childcare centre, and there is a fielder on the fence, no, not on the fence, but about 20 metres from the goalposts on near the mid-wicket boundary. Comes into bowl and tries to play a leg glance, and the fielder at square leg will run around, and they get 1. So this is the 7th over now, and the score has moved on now. It is 29. So it's going very, very fast. Comes into bowl, and leg glances it down to fine leg. The fielder runs around and throws it in, and they get 1 very comfortably there. And someone didn't throw the ball right. So Farah once again on strike. There's 2 fielders on the fence now. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone. So the fine leg fielder is on the fence, exactly on the fence. I mean, standing right next to the shadows of the trees. The fielder at mid wicket is about 20 metres in, so quite deep. Square leg is orthodox, mid off and mid on are orthodox. Extra cover, point are all pretty much orthodox, although they're standing a couple of metres back, you would say. Comes into bowl and late and cuts it through the gap between cover and point, and they are able to scoop it in, and they decide not to go for a second, so just the 1 run. And they've brought in, so they've got two slips, gully, so just the resumption of the orthodox field for Russell. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone outside the off stump. Except that the fine leg is now still on the fence. The fine leg fielder is literally standing in the shadows. And now he comes into bowl and leaves it alone. A good over there, I think, for Diamond Creek. Even though they only scored 3 runs off it, they looked like they were in control of what the bowler had in store for them. So it is 31 without loss. Australia have not lost another wicket. Smith is still in with Cummins, so it is 7 for 230. And comes into bowl. And it's aggressively driven, but it was a bit of a scoopy shot, and in the end the point fielder is too far back and couldn't take the catch. So that is the price you pay when you try and be more defensive, you worry about the batsman hitting boundaries, and then you have your fielders further back. Comes into bowl. And it's a pull shot, and it goes down to the fine leg area, and there's the fine leg fielder coming in, and they get 1 run there. So they've resumed the 2 slips and a gully. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone again. Big gap at mid-wicket. There's a oh wait, no, they decided to close that up a bit with mid-on walking around a bit. Huge gap at both mid-wicket and extra cover. Comes into bowl. And it's pulled, but doesn't go straight to mid-on. And now a very pleasant breeze is blowing across the ground, which is to cool you down. It feels a bit better now than what it was about 10 minutes ago. Comes into bowl, and it's cut, and it's through that extra cover gap that I was speaking about, and the mid-off fielder is able to secure it by chasing it, and they get the 1 run there for Russell. So even though Russell obviously has a very unique technique, and obviously it comes with its strengths and weaknesses, he has been scoring quite reasonably well throughout the course of this innings. Comes into bowl and plays it, tried to play it fine, but goes straight to the gully. Nice idea by Farah. End of the over. It's 33 for no loss. We're coming into the 9th over now. And the opening bowler looks like he's going to be continuing to bowl from the childcare centre end. And that is the ball that that Russell is most vulnerable to, when it's just outside the off stump, and it's not at the stumps, and it just leaves the right-hander, so he has to commit to it because it's so close to the stumps and it's so full, but then he just ends up swinging his bat at it. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone. And I don't think there's any way that Farah can really defend against those sorts of balls. They are just the exact balls that his technique would make them vulnerable. Comes into bowl, and it tries to play the cut shot, but misses it. It's too wide. I think it missed the bottom edge, so a dot ball in the end. Comes into bowl, and a dribbly ball in the end, left alone once again. by Russell. And the wind is now picking up. It's a little bit of a nuisance. Comes into bowl, and it's a pull shot, and it goes over the head, and it goes down towards the camera area, and they get 2 runs there. So well played by Russell. He's very good at that straight pull shot, that tennis sort of shot. Comes into bowl, and oh, wild hoosh. It was the sucker ball. It was a half volley wide outside the off stump, and he missed it. So, end of the over. It's 35 for no loss. Comes into bowl, and tries to play the pull shot. Bottom edge, and it goes down to fine leg, where square leg runs around and collects it for 1 run. The ball is often the balls are coming on a bit slower than what Farah is expecting, and that's why he's getting a lot of bottom edges and inside edges, because he swings too fast, too quickly. Comes into bowl. Leaves it alone. Comes into bowl and leaves it alone outside the off stump. So, the gaps. Extra cover, mid-wicket, third man. There's a fielder there at fine leg, so only 1 run down there. And fine leg is on the fence, thank God. So there will only ever be 1 run if you hit it down to fine leg. And he tries to play a late drive-ish sort of shot, but in the end got too much bat on it to point for a dot ball. Comes into bowl, and very well defended there by Russell. Got into position immediately. So the question will be, it's about time to change over the opening bowlers. They'll have each bowled 10 overs after this next delivery, and so it might be time to try someone new. The run rate has gone down from almost 4 runs and over to 3.5. Comes into bowl. And aggressively driven by Russell, but straight to mid-off. So just the dot ball there, which means only 1 run off the over. It is 36 for no loss after 10 overs. Comes into bowl, and Farah drives it straight to the fielder at extra cover for a dot ball. This is certainly a very different innings we've seen from Diamond Creek. And oh, it's an inside edge into the pads. So after getting bowled out for 55 in the derby and then getting bowled out for 43 last game, they are now 36 for no loss and have put up a similar batting display to the one we saw in the second innings last round. Putting up a real hard fight. Comes into bowl and defended there, and it goes straight to the fielder at point. Comes into bowl and defended. have collected there on the roll by the fielder cover. So they've been able to keep Farah down this over. 4 dot balls. Comes into bowl and defended. So we've gone through the we've passed the first quarter of the match. So we had 10 overs of Riverside, now we've had 10 overs of Diamond Creek, so 20 overs from a 68 over day. Comes in a bowl and tries to late cut it, and it's a bit of an outside edge and it goes down to third man. The gully fielder runs around and they get 2 runs there. So the score is 38 for no loss. Comes into bowl and defended there comfortably by Russell. And still pushing the fielder at mid-off a bit wider. Comes into bowl and it's cut and it goes straight to the fielder at cover dot ball. So just trying to peg back the run rate. It was going at 4. Now it's just approaching about 3. Comes into bowl and defended. The thing is that Diamond Creek don't need to score at 4 runs and over. They could win the game just scoring at 3. So even just 3 runs and over is not enough for them to get worried. If the run rate started to fall about 2.5, something like that, that would become a point of concern, because then they can't win the game by batting out the day's play. Comes into bowl and it's pulled, a straight pull shot back to the bowler for a dot ball. Comes into bowl and a wild whoosh. That was again the sucker ball, very wide, very full. Russell bent his front knee and tried to play an extravagant cover drive, and in the end just was way off the mark and looked like a bit of a fool. Comes into bowl and tries to play it late, but again can't get it down to third man, instead goes straight to the fielder at point. It is a maiden, so it is still 38 for no loss. Comes into bowl and defended. So after 7 overs the score was 31. So the run rate was more than 4. Then there was 2 runs off the 8th over, 2 runs off the 9th, 1 run off the 10th. Comes into bowl. And it's a pull shot, and it's in the air over the head of the fielders, and a catch there on the deep by the fielder on the mid-wicket boundary. We weren't able to pick that up because the ball went too fast, but very well caught there. That is not a very easy catch to make on the mid-wicket boundary there. So well done, and Riverside have their first wicket. So, probably the thing about it is that in the previous round, we only saw one player from Diamond Creek score double figures when Diamond Creek were able to bat out the rest of the game and save themselves from an outright defeat. And that was Farah, who scored 85 out of a total score of about 120 something for free. And so now that Farah's gone, where are Diamond Creek going to get the runs from? Because although this has been a very good start, there's still 160 runs to win. So it is still a heavy burden to be faced with a new batsman in. Comes into bowl and defended off the back foot. And we just heard one of the players in the Riverside fielders sledge about responsibility, and it's true, there is a lot of responsibility placed on these two batters' shoulders. Comes into bowl, and oh, inside edge. That was not well played. He was completely uncertain about what to do. In the end, played it very badly. Comes into bowl and down the leg side. So that previous ball, not the ball down the leg side, but the previous ball, he wasn't sure where it was actually going to be directed, and he was very late on it, and he just was unsure about whether to defend his stumps, whether to swerve out of the way. Comes into bowl and defended. That's much better played. So a wicket maiden. The score is 1 for 38.